Welcome to the Vol Bros. My name is Evan, and you'll notice I don't have my brother Rustin with me tonight. Rustin had a little surprise work situation pop up this evening, and so he is unable to be with us. He was going to try to get here, but he was unable to make it in time. But we're very excited. I'm very excited to have our special guest this evening. Before we bring him on, we do have obviously one major thing that happened today in Vol Nation. It was announced yesterday. Jourdan Thomas suffered a season-ending I just combined injury and ending into one word. Season-ending injury, knee injury, during practice, unfortunately. Now, if you listen to the 247 guys, they strongly believe that he was in line to be the starting defensive back at the star position. So the Austin Price and Brent Hubbs today said essentially that is now Boo Carter's spot to lose. Like he is it's on a platter for him right there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We wish nothing but the best for Jourdan. Obviously, we're praying that he heals. I do think it's interesting knowing what we know now that Jourdan got injured yesterday. I do think it's interesting in hindsight that the Tennessee football Twitter account tweeted out the video of Boo Carter breaking up a pass last night. Because by that point, when they tweeted it, they knew already what was going on with Jourdan. And so it was almost like they're subtly letting Volleyball Nation know, hey, we're okay, that kind of thing. But I do think that was strategic by them. So, Jourdan, we wish you nothing but the best. But I keep saying we because I'm used to having Rustin, but I am very, very excited. We have a very special guest tonight. And yet we were talking right before we started, and Rustin and I have been very fortunate to have some awesome guests with us. We've had Cole Kubelik, and I don't want to name off everybody because then inevitably I'll forget somebody and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But like former players, Jason Swain, Malik Foreman, Josh Mancuso, Reed Carringer joins us all the time. Reed will actually be with us the Sunday before the first game. So I believe that's August the 25th, I think is the Sunday. So we're excited to have Reed join us. But there was one name on that list that I made of people who I wanted to have because he is beloved by all of Vol Nation. We've never had anyone from the North Pole on our podcast. And I don't know what the northernmost point in Tennessee is, but I think it might be Bristol, but he's not from Bristol. But I'm very excited to welcome Sandoval to our show, and just to give everybody a heads up, there's a little bit of a delay, but that's totally fine. So just bear with us. But Sandoval, welcome. We are so glad you're with us.
I'm glad to be here, and like I told you earlier, I don't necessarily think that I belong in a list with some of the guys you have named, but I'll take it, and I thank you. I'm very flattered.
Well, you've already got a lot of love in the comments here. Big Orange said, go Vols. And then he said, he knows you. He shares your stuff on Facebook, and he gave you a fist bump. Sandoval fist bump. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's great. Well, so Santa, I've got 3 questions for you. And I think the question that everybody really wants to know is, how did all this come about? People look for you now on game days. They know you. And so obviously people love following you on Twitter, or I guess X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Mississippi Vol said, ho, 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 merry football time in. I like that. That's what I'm talking about. So Sandoval, tell us the story of how you came up with this idea. How was Sandoval, the origin story of Sandoval?
Really, and nothing elaborate. It was just, I thought it would be cool, like for the last game of the season, last home game, to get an orange and white Santa suit just to wear, just, kind of on a lark, just thought it would be fun. And I really didn't think too far ahead with it. I made a Facebook, I made a Twitter, ordered the orange suit, found it online. It came in, and it was more kind of the darker, rusty orange, kind of like, horns down wears. Um, but was what it was. So I wore it to the first game, and the reception was just blew me away. Well, after seeing everybody there, and I enjoyed it because I mean it's real nice when everybody's glad to see you. So ego. Um, that was the year that we played Northwestern in the Outback Bowl. So my mother is just a whiz with a sewing machine. So I asked her, I said, "Hey, do you think you could make like a shorts and short sleeve version of that suit, like a summer suit, and I could wear it to the bowl game?" And yeah, we could probably do that. So then I went to the bowl game.
You
And
cut
then
in and out there
after,
a little bit, so I'm gonna ask you. Can you tell us one more time? I heard it was nothing elaborate. I wanted a orange and white Santa suit. So could you tell us one more time?
yeah, so I ordered it off the internet, and it came in, and it was more kind of, I guess, lack of better terms, it was a burnt orange, kind of horns down. Um, so was what it was. I wore it. Um, wore it to the game. Huge reception. Everybody loved it. Little kids loved it. It was great. And I didn't really think too far ahead. I'd made a Twitter. I'd made a Facebook. Just kind of, hey, here we go, Santa Ball. Let's see what happens.
Well, let me
Well,
ask you this: is it ever really hot in that Santa suit?
it yeah, some days I think I'm going to wear the full suit because, it's Florida, it's a big game, and yeah, that's probably wasn't a good idea. But the worst part, and I'll tell people, the worst part's the hat. It doesn't matter because it holds in the heat. So I mean, like I've got my Hawaiian shirt on because it's summertime now. People have seen the short sleeve versions. Um, but yeah, the hat gets hot. It does get hot in it, but it's not bad. It's fun. It doesn't cost anything to make somebody smile. So I mean, that's great.
Yeah, definitely better probably in the November games than the September games, right?
Most definitely. People are freezing, and I'm like, this is great.
Well, our connection's great now. We hear you loud, perfect, right on time now. It's awesome. So can you humor me one more time and tell us that origin story one more time? Because I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah. So I just always thought it'd be fun to wear an orange white Santa suit, wear it like to the last game of the season. So I was, near Thanksgiving, kids getting ready to go home for school, whatever. So I ordered it off the internet. It came in. It was too much of the ugly Texas, not really orange, more brown, closer to orange, but still. So that's what it was. So I wore it. Um, you could tell immediately that it was supposed to be Tennessee orange. So everybody, the reception was great. Little kids loved it. Ball walk was phenomenal. Um, before I went down, like that week when I had it planned, I actually went through because this was before NIL and everything was kind of fuzzy with what you could and couldn't do. I had the plan to pass out candy canes. So I literally found UT compliance on Twitter and shot them a message like, hey, if I show up in an orange and white Santa suit, what have I got to do to hand out candy canes to the players and not get us in trouble? And they responded and they were laughing. They were like, as long as you give candy canes to people besides the players, you're fine. And I was like, okay, no problem. So, from there, I just know I bring, two or 300 candy canes every week and players get them, fans get them, however it works out. But that really helped. The compliance department was like, yeah, thank you for asking. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do anything. And hey, look at this idiot that got us on probation for a candy cane. But and I've actually had some players that would tell me like, I can't take that. And I'm like, no, really, you can. It's okay.
That is awesome. Because I mean, there are people who look for you on game days now,
Yeah,
knowing that you got their candy cane. There's little kids.
right.
They're like, "Hey, I want my candy cane. I want to go see Santa."
Yeah, and then as far as Origin goes, after that was the Vandy game of 2015, and then that year we went to so we played Northwestern in the Outback Bowl. So my mother is a whiz with a sewing machine, so I asked her. I said, "Hey, do you think you could make like a summer version of a Santa suit, like shorts with a short sleeve?" And she was like, "I probably could." So I wore it to the bowl game, and I I met people there that I'm still friends with it's really funny. I'm still friends with people I met from that Vanderbilt game and from that bowl game. They're like have been with me from the start. And one of the girls that I've met at the bowl game, she's a senior in high school this year, and I'm just like, this is crazy. I've literally, she's grown up with me as as a thing, and it's just crazy to even think about that I've been doing it. But this will be the ninth year that I've done it, and it's
That is
just
awesome. How cool is it that you are part of people's game day traditions now? How cool is that?
it's just crazy to even think about. It's one of those I because none of it was planned. If I had it planned, I'd have done a whole lot more, I guess. But um, it was just me being goofy, thinking it'd be fun, and then it's just kind of blown up. And some of the when I first did it, it was kind of the end of Butch and the Pruitt years, and there would be like some weekends, like I would get back and have messages on Twitter or Facebook like, "You were the highlight of my weekend," and I'm thinking that's really sad, but it's probably true. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like I don't want to be the highlight of a weekend. I want to be part of a weekend. So it's got a lot better the past 2 or 3 years.
I was about to say before you said that when you mentioned the Butch and Pruitt years, I was like, you were probably the highlight of
Yeah.
the one shining moment for everybody that weekend.
I do remember the COVID year. Did Mississippi State at home?
It was. It sure
I think it
was.
was Mississippi State. I had a couple that had their baby with them from Mississippi State, and because everything was closed because of COVID, they didn't have a Santa to get a first Christmas with. So this
Oh
Mississippi
wow.
State baby's first Christmas picture was with an orange Santa. So I guess if anything good
That's
came out of COVID,
awesome.
we'll take that.
That is amazing. That is so good. There's some little, Mississippi State frame somewhere with
Right.
Sandoval in it.
And they're like, okay,
That's
I've got to tell
amazing.
you why.
So some of the comments come through. People are loving your shirt. Dester said he loves your shirt.
Thank you. My daughter's got me this for Father's Day a couple years ago.
That is awesome. Uh, Zach asked if this was Rustin's alter ego. That's showing up on. Let's see. Big Orange said, I follow him on Facebook and have heard a whole lot about old Sandoval. He's one of Tennessee's biggest fans. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. When you mentioned the Texas thing, Zach said Texas is the fake UT. He said there would be no Texas without Tennessee. There we go. Man, that is the best right there. Sandoval giving it horns down on
Darn right.
the Vol Pros. Does it get any better than that? Carl said, I look forward to seeing Sandoval because that's football season. That is so cool. Carl also said, rumor has it Santa also got an interception against Jarrett Garantano during the Kentucky game.
Oh, please.
Tyler said, welcome, Tyler. Good to have you, man. He said, Sandoval made my wife's first Tennessee game a memorable one at the Vol Shop in 2021. How cool is that?
Nice. Tell her I said hello, Tyler.
That is so cool. Zach said, that's all we want is just horns down. That's Bill, welcome, Bill. Good to have you. He said, hello, Sandoval. Hello, Evan. Go Big Orange. Very cool. So Santa, are there any other traditions like, well, I'm going to go out of order because I'm skipping around on you here, but are there any other traditions that you are a part of now? And I mean, you've already heard there are some people who you're the start of football season for. But like, we know you hand out candy canes, so anybody can get a candy cane, right?
As long as I've still got them. Some weeks they go faster than others, but yeah.
Absolutely. Herb said, welcome, Herb. He said, I first met Sandoval, my fiance and kids at the Orange and White game in 2018. That is so cool. This is my favorite. This is my favorite part, getting to hear how you're part of people's memories. How cool is
Right.
that?
It's crazy. And, it's one of those where you don't realize how long it's been. I mean, 2018, and it's funny how you get older, time seems to compress. But I mean, you think, oh, yeah, that was a year or two ago. No, it's been like 6 years now. I mean, that's been a minute.
Absolutely. Hey, maybe, 20 years from now, we'll be saying, all right, so all the Tennessee traditions, you got the Vol Navy, you got running through the tee, the Vol walk, getting a candy cane from Sandoval. Maybe that'll be on that list.
That would be awesome.
Carl said, he said, how cool is this? Who doesn't love Santa and Big Orange? There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Zach said, can you make Christmas songs, but a Vol edition.
I can't. I might have to see if I get some elves on it, but yeah, I'm not musically inclined.
And you have a dark mode Santa costume now, don't you?
I do.
That is
Thought it was
cool.
in the room with me here, but yeah, that one. And people swore that I knew about it, but the year that they rolled out the dark mode jerseys 3 or 4 years ago, I'd caught something that summer. Scuttlebutt, they're going to wear black this year. And for some reason, it just got in my head, they're wearing them this week. And I didn't have anything. So I went on Amazon and got like 2 days shipping on a black and white Santa suit. And my mother, who makes most of my suits, um, I got it like on Wednesday. And I'm like coming in her back door, like, I know you hate the black. I don't have time to argue. Everything on this that's white, you've got to turn orange. Oh, I don't. I said, no, we'll argue about it later. So in one day, she got all the trim oranged and I was good to go. But people were like, how did you know? I was like, I didn't know. I was just making a guess. And if it wasn't this week, I would have it ready. But when they announced it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And
that is amazing.
She did it. And now, like, she's 82, I think, 83. She's 83. And she's been to at least one game with me since 1985. Now, as she's gotten older, it's just been one game a year, but it never fails. Somebody will mention the black suit, and I'll like, make sure you tell her how nice it is. And she's like, oh. And like sometimes I have to prompt people, but like, I guess it was 2 years ago, we ran into Andy Kelly before the game, and with no prompting. And I don't run into Andy Kelly in all the games. I mean, he just sees me. And he was like, that's a sharp suit. He said, but I really like that black one you had on a couple weeks ago. And the look on my mom's face. And I was like, I swear I didn't tell him to say that.
That is awesome. Carl like that. He said, Santa knows. He knows when they're wearing dark mode.
Now, the one, because it's only happened once, I've got a smoky gray suit that I wore for the Music City Bowl, but they haven't worn gray since. So it's like boxed up somewhere in my basement. But that was, and even my mom, who hates anything but orange and white, she will tell you that was one of the best suits she's made. It is sharp. So when we get to roll out the gray again, I'm just ready for it because it's a really nice suit.
That's what I'm talking about. They revealed that. I can't remember the tagline they had on it.
Right.
But it was the volunteer state, I think, edition of the Smoky Grays for this year. So maybe there's a Smoky Gray appearance on the horizon for you there.
It could be.
Madison, welcome, Madison. Good to have you. She said, we love seeing you every time we go to a game. Will you be there in August? So that'd be opening game this year against UTC.
I will definitely be there for UTC. My wife gets one game without me dressed up because it's just a lot easier on game day when you're not dressed as Santa. So I'm probably looking at the September 14th. Who do we play? The second home game, I'll probably not
Kent State, I believe, is that one.
Yeah, Kent State's probably not getting the Santa visit. It's just luck of the draw. But I couldn't not do it for the home opener. I mean, that would just be wrong.
Amen. Absolutely. Kent State's on the naughty list. They ain't getting Santa this year. Yeah. That the sentence you just said, that may have been my favorite sentence in the history of our show. When you said, there's always nice to have one game when you go to Tennessee not dressed like Santa.
And it's funny because it's like when I first started doing it and people would like stop, hey, can I get a picture? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking, why? And now when I don't go as Santa, I'm like, God, nobody's bothering me. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
But we could go from the parking garage to the game and back and never get stopped. And it's just like, it's surreal. Wow. And then there's, when I am in uniform, I don't get out of the parking garage. I mean, it's just crazy.
I bet. People love you. Carl, thank you so much. Carl gave a $20 super chat. He said, gotta go. Love the show. Love our Sandoval. Hey, awesome. We appreciate that very much, Carl. Let's see here. Michael said, well, hey, Michael, welcome, buddy. He said, all I want for Christmas is a Tennessee national championship.
Hey, I'm doing everything I can.
I love it. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Maybe your elves can be like Connor Stallions for Michigan and like steal the signs of the other team and let the coaches know. That
They
would
can
be
probably
amazing.
sneak in easier to do that too.
They probably could. You're right. Absolutely.
And and the best part about that story is we're supposed to believe that South Carolina was middle of the pack except for Clemson and us.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm just being a things aren't really adding up right guy. I
Exactly.
don't know.
Hey, it's not a conspiracy when it's blatantly obvious.
Right.
It was the only game all season they wore the wristbands on
Right.
defense. I mean,
Right.
come on, Let's see. Bill, welcome, Bill. He said one day I'll cross paths with Sandoval and ask him why he hasn't brought his fans a natty in the past 20 years. Just kidding. That's awesome. Hey,
We're
Dester
working,
asked a
man.
really good he asked a really good question here. He said, what area do you normally hang out in, like at the Vol Walk, if somebody wanted to find you and get a photo with you?
For the Vol Walk, I used to hang out around Gate 21, but it just got too crowded there. So what I've been doing is I will usually get up at the torchbearer, right where they unload the buses, and
Oh
I've
yeah.
had better seeing the players there. Um, but I usually hang out somewhere around Circle Park up in that area. I know where the VFL have a tailgate for former players and a lot of guys from like the late 80s, early 90s, which is what I was growing up with. That's where they tailgate. So I usually kind of hang out in that area. But I get people like asking me all the time, hey, can you come here? Can you come there? And really, it's not that I don't want to, I can't. When I'm walking around, it's funny, I can walk around for 20 minutes and I'm fine. But as soon as one person will break the ice and stop me, I will be in that
Ah.
spot for 15 or 20 minutes. It's like somebody's waiting for somebody to say it. And another thing I've learned, and not being rude, but unless somebody like actually says, hey, can I get a picture? I'm walking. Hey, Santa, hey, how's it going? And I keep walking because I can't stop. And I'm not,
Yeah,
not trying to sound ego or whatever. It's just literally, I know that once I stop, I'm going to be in that spot for at least 10 minutes, probably 20 or
absolutely.
30.
I
So I
totally
kind of
understand
hang
that.
out. I kind of hang out at Circle Park. Then I start making my way back down because our seats are in the north end zone. So I kind of make my way back down to gate 21 so I can get in time to see all the pregame stuff. But
That's cool. That is very cool. Robert said, let's welcome Robert. He said, let's go Santa and let's win a natty. There you go.
yes, sir. Let's go.
Herb said, Vol tradition is unmatched, including Santa Vol.
Thank you, Art.
That is awesome. Bobby asked a great question. Welcome, Bobby. He said, Santa, have the Vols been good enough this year to get in the playoffs?
I'm trying to get us a home playoff game. I've seen some projections, and yeah, I want the playoffs, but we need that game in Neyland. I mean, that would be awesome. First year of the playoffs, we get the host.
How
That's what we
incredible would
need,
that be?
right? And that atmosphere would just be insane.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, if there was a year to do it with the offensive line, the veteran, presence
Right.
on our offensive line and our defensive line, the depth they have, well, this is the year. If they're going to do it, they need to do it. Elijah agreed with you. Elijah said, welcome, Elijah. Good to have you, buddy. He said, I will die on the hill that South Carolina cheated.
And I'll be right beside you, Elijah.
Hey, you're in good company when Santa's standing with you. You're in good company. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Santa, so I know you've been featured in like news articles and you've gotten to be on photo ops at I think the Vol Shop and maybe it was Alumni Hall. I can't remember which one. What opportunities have you been afforded since taking on this identity as Santa Vol?
The the first the first one that really got my attention was the summer after the Outback Bowl when I just done the one game in the Outback Bowl. Um, I've got my Facebook. and I get a private message from Chip McCallum, that was a kicker back in the 80s, early 90s on the Sugar Bowl team. And he's like, messaging, hey, are you going to be at the Alabama game? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm probably not going to dress up because at this point in time, I'm still thinking this is a one game a season thing.
Oh,
And he
gotcha.
messaged me back and he's like, well, my daughter really wanted to meet you. And if you're going to be at the Alabama game, that's when they're doing the Letterman's reunion. And I could take you down to the Letterman's room. You could meet Coach Majors. And I was like, well, I guess I'm dressing up for the Alabama game. So,
Yes, I
like,
can do that.
yeah, I can make that happen. So I've gotten to be really good friends with Chip. The same year, Floyd Miley's book came out, Floyd Miley Can Fly, talking about his journey through UT and his big play at Notre Dame. We did a contest where if you guessed the score, he would give away a book to people. So I've made some contacts with former players. But yeah, I've been able to get pregame like down in the Letterman's area a couple of times. And it's one of those where I would like to do that every week, but you can't ask that. I just let them
Right.
ask me. You gotta be cool with it. But yeah, I've met a ton of former players, and they all just seem to love it. It's crazy. I've met a couple of former players that were like, "When did you play?" And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't." And they're like, "Nah, come on, are you like you're like in the '70s?" I was like, "Nah, dude, I didn't play." "Ah, what are you in the '80s?" I'm like, "No." And finally, I'm like, "No, listen, I didn't play." Like I'm just a crazy fan who looks like Santa a little bit, so I ran with it. But yeah, as far as just things I've done, I've been able to work with the Vol Shop. COVID year got us, but we've done something around the last game of the season around Thanksgiving time. Usually, I'll show up and do like 2 or 3 hours in the Vol Shop before game day, um, and work with those guys. And that's great because it gives people a chance to get in to see me rather than having to hope for where you're going to be. And that's terrible when you get that message like, "I'll look for you all week." I'm like, "I'm sorry." I mean, I never know what might come up. Whereas if they know, hey, he's going to be at the ball shop from 11 to 1, yeah, I'm going to be at the ball shop probably from 10:30 to 1:30. It's fun to see everybody.
That's
But
awesome. That is so cool. Well, let me ask you this. So Tennessee got a commitment this past, well, it was yesterday actually, from Faison Brandon, the number one overall player in the 2026 class. Is Faison on the good list now?
oh, definitely, definitely, he's way up on the good list. And unlike the I don't know the alphabet soup that like grades the kids, he will stay ranked high. He won't drop down just because he committed to UT. Like
Yeah, that's a
sometimes
great point. Yeah,
mysteriously happens. It's just he was a 5-star, now he's a 4-star. Well, what changed?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
Santa's kind of a conspiracy guy.
Hey, if Santa's that way, then it's got to be right. That's all I'm saying. Eric, welcome, Eric. He said, "What's up, Evan and Sandoval?" He's like, "I agree as well. South Carolina cheated." Everybody's hung up on South Carolina now. He said they cheated that 2022 game because they had Tennessee signs because of Michigan. I will believe that till the day I die.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mino Likey, welcome, Mino Likey. Good to have you with us. She said, "Evening, Evan, Sandoval, and the Vol Bros chat." And Herb said, "Faison's highlights are insane."
Crazy.
Agreed. That dude is legit. He looks like a grown man already, and
Right.
he's just going into his junior season of high school.
Crazy.
So, uh, uh like he said, "What are we to take from Rustin and Sandoval not being in the same room?"
I can neither confirm nor deny anything.
That's my new favorite comment of the night right there. That's awesome. Sandoval, I'm loving the wall you got behind you there, the checkerboard. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it took a minute to get it painted and to get it right, but the room is totally trashed, or I would show it off. But that's for another time.
Well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
If I share my screen and put Tennessee's schedule for this season up on the screen, can we go game by game and you tell me if you think it's a win or a loss?
We can, but the most eternal of optimists, so it's probably going to be like 15-0. But
Hey, you'll fit right in.
but
All
yeah,
right.
why
Well, I'm
not?
going to share this tab. So, um, Tennessee does kick off this month, August 31st, against UTC in Neyland. Can we agree that's a win?
Yeah, it's W.
Absolutely. All right. So, fun game here. Neutral site game, kind of. I mean, it's
Right.
pretty close to Raleigh. So in Charlotte against NC State, what do you think happens in that game?
Tennessee wins that. That's
I agree.
comfortably.
All right. So then we roll into week 3, which is when Sandoval will not make an appearance. What do you think? Does Kent State have any chance coming into Neyland?
I, any given Saturday nonsense, but no. I mean, no, not anymore. This isn't 5 or 6 years ago. No.
Hey, I like that answer. That's right. This isn't like 2018.
Right.
Let's see here. Ooh, the big one. So going to Oklahoma, it will be Nico's first true road game and first SEC game. What do you think happens in Norman that night?
It'll be Nico's first true road game. It'll be Oklahoma's first SEC game, but it'll be Coach Heupel's first game back at Oklahoma on the wrong sideline, or on the other sideline. They would say wrong sideline. I think, this game will really set the tone for how both these teams look in the SEC. I think it'll be close, but yeah, I've got to go with the Vols in this one. 3 to 7
totally
points
agree.
somewhere in there. Be a close game, but we can pull it out.
I totally agree. I think it's going to be very close, but Vols win at the end. Maybe similar to the 2022 game at Pitt, maybe even an overtime game.
Right.
All right. So we have a bye week after Oklahoma, which is great because historically haven't fared well at Arkansas, but we are coming off a bye week. So what do you think happens against Arkansas?
Coming off the bye week is great. I don't like going to Arkansas just because, like you said, historically, it hasn't been kind to us. We've had some wins there, but we've also had some just meltdowns there. I like it coming off the bye week. I don't like it before the Florida game, but there's no reason we shouldn't win that game.
Amen.
I mean, if you've got to come up with all the reasons that we could lose, then what you're saying is there's no reason we shouldn't win.
Amen. I love that. That's exactly right. For sure. All right. So then, night game in Neyland. It's going to be a Manning cast game, which is super cool. ESPN's already announced that they will do a Manning cast for the Tennessee-Florida game. What do you think happens in Neyland against the Gators?
This is one of the games that, and of course I'm picking Tennessee to win, but we've seen so many years where we've had head and shoulders better talent, better team, better players, and something happened. So don't, just, stay humble before the game, and then we can brag after the game. But this will be a better game than people expect. And I don't care if Florida comes in without any wins. I don't care what they look like. For whatever reason, they're all world when they play us, and I've seen it too many times to think that it's going to be a cakewalk. But hang on for the next one.
Totally agree. I mean, it's just rivalry games are different, right?
Yep.
So let's see. You got us. I'm going to count them up so far here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-0. And I mean, like you said, Santa Chomp. That's right. So you got a 6-0 heading into the third Saturday in October. And Alabama has to come to Neyland this year. New coach, Heupel's 4th year, Kalen DeBoer's 1st year. What do you think happens against the Crimson Tide?
We beat the brakes off of them.
Woo! Sandoval!
everything I said about Florida, you could apply for Alabama. Nah, it it's going to be. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to give chalkboard material or whatever, bulletin board material, but yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to be over quick, and we're just going to stay on them. Book it.
Man, I'm loving this. That is awesome. That is awesome. Hey, so let it be written, so let it be done. Santa has spoken. I love it. I love it. Herb's liking it too. He said 7-0 at that point. Absolutely. Mina, like you said, Merry Christmas about it. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Well, hey, here's the thing. Okay, if that happens, we're 7-0 at that point, going into a bye week with Kentucky coming off the bye week, and Kentucky has to come to Knoxville. Does Kentucky stand any chance in that game?
No, and Kentucky's similar to the Alabama as far as I think we'll just beat the snot out of them. Where the difference is Alabama's about to enter the phase where people pick them because they're Alabama, and rolling the helmets out on the field's not going to work forever. And I think they're fixing to have that turn. Kentucky, they always like to talk. Great, yeah, we got you this year, best, whatever. Coming off, or historically, if you look, their greatest seasons they've had, they've lost to us. So, I'm not. Kentucky's just number one. I think Stoops is trying to get out of there. If Texas A&M would have said okay, he would have left. But of course, none of that ever got out. As much as I think there was probably talk to it, but yeah, by this point in the season, Kentucky could either be riding high and we get to pop a balloon, or they could already, Stoops could already be looking for other jobs even harder than he already is. So, yeah, I'm not worried about Kentucky.
Hey, man, hey, it's still Kentucky, right?
Right. Kentucky's going to Kentucky. Like, was it Alante Taylor? We don't lose to Kentucky,
All right, so that means Tennessee's sitting at 9-0, and they have Mississippi State, very new Mississippi State team this year. Brand new coach, Jeff Lebby was hired there. Coming to Knoxville, and it's going to be a night game. So, what do you think happens at Neyland at night?
Same as the other two games. It's going to keep it rolling. It'll be a good game. Mississippi State, they're kind of hit and miss historically with Tennessee. Sometimes it's a great game. Sometimes it's really ugly. But, it may be close for the first half, and then we pull away in the second. But, yeah, I see us winning that game.
Absolutely. Like you liked your Kentucky's going to Kentucky comment. Let's see here. Oh, boy. Ooh, Santa. November 16th. Okay, now let's be honest about this, though. At this point, this means Tennessee's 9-0.
Right.
This would be their 10th game of the season. Georgia, we can assume, is going to be potentially 9-0 as well at this point.
It should be. I mean, be honest.
So we could be looking at, Tennessee and Georgia 2 years ago in 2022. They were the first ever number one versus number one game, which was bizarre because Tennessee was number one in the college football playoff rankings and Georgia was the AP number one. So we very well might be looking at a number one versus number two kind of matchup here going to Athens. What do you think happens there?
Well, with this one, I'm kind of split because honestly, I think this is where not getting out of East versus West. We're going to play them in Athens, and we're going to turn around and play them in Atlanta. So, maybe we lose in Athens. Okay. We'll get them 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, whatever the time frame would be. We'll see them again in Mercedes-Benz. So, I mean, I guess just to have somewhat sanity. Okay, I'll give Georgia wins a close game here. Okay.
You're pumping me up, man.
That's my job, man.
That is awesome. I love it. I love it. So you heard it here first. Tennessee is going to the SEC championship game. That's what I'm talking about. Mina Leggy said, very diplomatic. Well played, Santa. I'm pumped, man. Like, if Santa's saying it, you know it has to be true. And so I am loving this. Let's see here. UTEP. So I didn't know this, and Tyler let me know this in a couple days. So Tyler Goldberg, who commented earlier, he used to work in the athletic department at Tennessee. And so he joined our show. He's joined our show probably three times now, maybe four. And he gave us his prediction. I guess it was last Thursday, maybe. And come to find out, the next day he found out and he let me know Austin Peay's football coach from last year, he got hired by UTEP.
Oh.
And so, last year, Austin Peay, they gave us a little bit of a scare there a little bit. And now he's at UTEP. So even with that, do you think UTEP stands a chance coming into Knoxville November 23rd?
No. And
agreed.
it's too much, especially later in the season. Now, if this game was early, September game, maybe they could, make it fun for a little while. But yeah, I don't see it. If anything, depending on what's happening, having the coach from Austin Peay, he's going to get them pumped up talking about how Tennessee played against his guys and maybe give them a little fool's gold hope, So maybe they're thinking that it's not going to be what it is. But I love the teams that talk that, and I know UTEP has, but these players haven't, that haven't been to Neyland and talking about, noise is noise, blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's not. And players that leave, Neyland will tell you, loudest thing I've ever been in, Baker Mayfield still talk about, the noise and not able to hear, and
Yep.
They don't have to say that. They're saying it because they're telling the truth. I mean,
That's exactly right.
It's a totally different animal, but
absolutely. Well, so last game of the season, we go to Vanderbilt, the powerhouse that is Vanderbilt football. What do you think is going to happen in Nashville?
The same thing that always happens. I'm terrible when it comes to Vanderbilt because I take the George Cafago approach. I'm never for Vanderbilt in anything. If they've got Tiddlywinks team, I'm for the other team. I'm not. And it's just, nah. Now, the only thing would be, they might be trying to get their only win of the season. I mean, if you honestly look at it, but no, I'm not worried about Vanderbilt at all.
So Sandoval's prediction, you've heard it here first. He says Tennessee goes 11-1, only lost to Georgia, but then they play Georgia again in the SEC championship game.
And then we host a playoff game.
That's what I'm talking about.
Then I don't know from there. But
Elijah said he agreed with you. He said we go 11-1, lost to Georgia. He agrees with you. Let's see. Green Wave said I agree with Santa 100%.
All right.
Mina like you said, I believe in Santa. Bobby said sounds like Santa has us going to the playoffs. Go Big Orange Santas. Go Vols. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
When I mentioned Austin Peay's football coach, Elijah said, "Oh man, I hate that coach."
He was such a level-headed guy. He was, so calm and down to earth.
Yeah. I sense a hint of sarcasm in your voice there. I love this. Tyler said the nice list is clad in big orange.
Amen.
I love that. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Let's see. Herb agreed with you. He said Neyland is a different type of noise.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, hey, now after the Georgia game last year, we now hold the record for loudest football stadium ever.
Right.
Not just college, NFL included. the loudest stadium ever. Absolutely. Mina Laggy said, Santa, you rock.
Thank
She's
you.
pumped up. Mina Laggy also said, Rudolph says, smash that like button. There you go. I like that. That's a good idea. Let his nose guide you to the like and subscribe button. That would be amazing. Let's see. All right. So Elijah, you got Elijah pumped up. He wants some clarifying questions now. He's like, okay, so if we win the SEC, wouldn't we get a first round bye? We would.
I'm not sure.
Or
I don't
does he
know.
think we lose in the championship game and still get in?
That,
He
I mean,
That's
that
a
could
good
be possible.
question.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know how it lays out enough to know if that would be a buy or not. But yeah, if we win the SEC, if that means we'd get a buy, then we get a buy. Okay. Sorry, we don't get a home playoff game.
Hey,
Because
either
that's
way,
right.
we're in the playoffs, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Greenwave said Rudolph's nose is not red, it's big orange. I love it. Well, this has been awesome. Like, well, let's see. Oh, wow. So Eric said, Evan Sandoval, last time Tennessee went to the College World Series, Tennessee won a national championship. So this year, Tennessee won the College World Series. So I think history repeats. Tennessee wins the Natty.
Sounds
I mean,
good
I'd
to
be
me.
cool with that.
Evan knows his history.
I mean, that would be cool with me for sure. Well, Santa, this has been awesome.
Thank you.
I cannot thank you enough for joining us. I have one more surprise for you, and everybody who's watching knows what I'm about to show you. So every time, I should have pulled this up before we started. Every time we have a guest on our show, we as a thank you from the Vol Bros to you, we would love to send you a t-shirt that says honorary bro on it. So
Yes, sir.
Santa Vol, you are now, hey, anytime you got Santa as an honorary bro, that is a good day. That is a good day.
Excellent. Thank you.
Absolutely. Every guest we have is an honorary bro. So
Awesome.
this is like, I know getting to be Santa's a pretty cool thing and all, but being an honorary bro, that's got to be
That's
right up
nice.
there near
That's
the top
nice.
of the list.
It's up there.
So if you can hang on with me after we finish the live stream, I'd love to get a mailing address from you, and I'd love to send you a shirt. That would be
Okay.
awesome.
And before I forget, and I don't know why I haven't, this is also the 9th year that I've done my countdown to kickoff giveaway. So if you're following me on Instagram, X, Facebook, and this year was the first time ever, I'm on TikTok. I thought I'd be able to make videos. I'm not that talented, so it's just a picture and music. But every day from August 1st until the first game of the season, a different Vol autograph will be up. Totally free. Just make the comment, whatever comment I ask for that day, and then the next day I'll announce who won and announce the next player that's being given away.
That is awesome. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I meant to ask you, like, you do so many giveaways on social media, and that is so cool. How can people follow you? What's your handle on those platforms?
Facebook's the only one I'm not 100% sure of, but for Instagram and for X, Twitter, it's Santa_Vol, just VOL, no S. I believe it's the same on TikTok. And then I'm not sure on Facebook. If you search Santa Vol, you should be able to see me. But I've got a link tree on all of those, so you should be able to find them easy enough.
Awesome. Fantastic. So I know we definitely keep up with you on X. And so it's at Santa_Vol.
Right.
And so such a fun follow on X. I love all the different giveaways you do, the stats you give for your Santa's nice list player of the game and the historic ones. Those are cool.
Well, when I started the countdown and I was tying it into obscure stats, because like anybody can say, oh, there's 20 days left. That's Travis Henry. Okay. I'm trying to find something unique that could go with 20. and it's not that difficult, but I've been trying to get it finished, and I'm done now. I finally got it complete. But like when you hit 10 to 1, it's hard to find something, to tie the number 2 into something, or what is a 3 that you can pull out without using a jersey number. But I've got elves that I'm the elf that pours through UT history books, and I've got some good search engines that I found online that help me find some stuff. And trying to find pictures for everybody's tough too, but I've been pretty good with it.
Well, you're a fantastic follow. So everybody go follow Sandoval on all those platforms. A couple more comments came in. Like you said, thank you, Sandoval.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Bobby said, Evan, any quick take on the Jourdan Thomas injury? So I did start the show, but I'm glad you asked because we'll finish show mentioning it too. It's just a shame. I hate it for the kid. This was his time. 247 was very convinced that he was going to be the starting star position, what normally people call a nickel, Tennessee calls a star. And so 247 was convinced that was his spot to lose. Today, Brent Hubbs from VolQuest, he said that really that means the door's wide open for Boo Carter now. That it's really his job to lose at this point. He's just got to go out and take it. And I mean, you've still got people like Will Brooks back there, John Slaughter. There are other folks back there, but I do, and I didn't mention this earlier, and I meant to, but I do think it's significant that last Tuesday on Media Day, they picked a handful of players, more than the normal 3, but there was probably 8 or 9 players that got chosen to have pressers during Media Day, and Jourdan Thomas was one of them. So clearly they felt like he was enough of a leader on their team and in their secondary that they put him up there as a person to be interviewed on Media Day. And so it's really unfortunate that he got injured for him. Obviously, we wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. But I did mention this earlier, and I'll mention it again now. Apparently, he got injured yesterday on Saturday during practice. I don't think it's a coincidence that last night, so later that same day when they knew he was injured and probably already knew the severity of it, that same night they released a video of Boo Carter breaking up a pass during practice yesterday. And I don't think that was an accident. I think that was essentially their way of saying, we're going to be okay. But I just hate it for Jourdan because this was his year. Like this was he waited his turn and this was his turn. And unfortunately he's going to have to redshirt now. So I hate it for him, but, a couple more comments came through here. Let's see. Herb said, awesome show. Thank you, Sandoval, for joining.
Thank you.
Let's see. Dester said, it's been an enjoyable show. Thank you, Sandoval. And Eric said, I agree. I'm confident with the depth this Tennessee football team has this season. This is the most depth they've had in years. I agree with that. This is certainly Tennessee's deepest roster that Heupel has had since he's been here. So it's exciting and most talented, which makes it even more exciting.
Right. And not saying that this could happen, but when it comes to secondary, look at how many wide receivers we've got. It's not
Great
unheard
point.
of to convert somebody that's a wide receiver to a DB, and vice versa. But I mean, it's just stupid how many receivers we have this year. So
Absolutely.
you might see somebody get some work that's just wanting to get some playing time, and hey, put me on that side of the ball. That's what I'm do, Coach.
Absolutely. Mississippi Vol, welcome, buddy. He said, thanks, Sandoval. Enjoyed having you. This has been so fun. Like you said, wow, that's too bad about Jourdan Thomas. Yeah, it is. I agree. Yeah. It stinks for him. It just stinks. But this has been a blast having you on our show, Santa. I so appreciate you joining us. Thank you for taking your time out of your Sunday evening. We are very, very grateful for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And for everybody watching, we thank you for tuning in. We hope that you all have a wonderful week ahead of you. Go Vols. And man, football season, it literally is right around the corner now. It is so close to football time in Tennessee. Can't wait. Can't wait. So Sandoval, August 31st, you'll be there.
Yes, sir.
So everybody be looking for Sandoval. He will have candy canes at the Vol Walk. If you're one of the lucky people who gets to him before they're gone. Well, have a great evening, everybody. We appreciate all of you so much, and go Vols.